2002 Volkswagen Jetta TDI with a 1.9 liter turbo diesel engine. Dealer just put a new fuel injector pump on this car at 125,000 miles, stating that the old one was bad. I have my doubts about how bad it was. I think this is an exception, not the rule. But there it is, $1,500 worth of pump plus labor. Car is running again. Diesel also told me I had a couple of problems that I need to be looking for. And one of them is that the EGR and the intake system are very clogged. I'm going to take that off in a minute and confirm that or not. They also told me about some obvious things. As you can see here, I've got some vacuum lines that are needing replacing. That one there, this one over here. They also said I have a coolant leak at the flange, not specific about which flange it is. I can find that one. I don't see any leakage, although there does appear to be some coolant, a small amount leaking from the engine. So I'm going to be taking a look at that also. So I'm going to be replacing the fuel filter on this engine. It has not been changed in over 10,000 miles. Appears to be working according to the dealer. And the next thing I'm going to be doing is removing the EGR valve to clean it and look inside the intake manifold and see if in fact it is actually as clogged as the dealer says it is. First thing I'm going to do is loosen the clamp on the vacuum line going to the EGR valve. This is a one-time use clamp. You just have to open it up a little bit with a screwdriver. I'm not going to use this clamp again, so I don't really care about it. I'm also going to replace the vacuum line. So the other thing I want to make sure here is that I just don't hurt the outlet or bend the outlet on the EGR valve itself. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this intake pipe from the inlet side of the turbo after the inlet intercooler by loosening this clamp with a pair of channel locks and this clamp, and completely remove this hose so I can have access to the EGR valve easier. Now I can get a good look inside the inlet of the EGR cooler. And I do see some carbon buildup in there. It's rather soft, oily kind of buildup. I'm not seeing the kind of obstruction that the dealer was talking about, but I'm going to go ahead and pull the EGR valve off so I can look straight into the intake manifold to see just how clogged it is at that point. To get the EGR cooler off, I'm going to have to remove the up pipe or down pipe from the EGR cooler going to the EGR valve. There's two 6mm Allen head socket bolts at the EGR cooler and two more here up underneath the EGR valve. You need to get them out of the way so you can get to the third of three EGR valve bolts that actually bolt the EGR valve to the intake manifold. Now that I've got the EGR valve off, I can look down actually inside the intake manifold, and I'm just not seeing the kind of obstruction here that concerns me for a turbo diesel at 125,000 miles. They were basically telling me that it was obstructed to the point of trying to shove a golf ball through a garden hose. I'm not seeing that at all here. Also, inside the EGR valve, which I can now look at, there is some mild deposits inside there. I am going to clean some of that up and test the EGR valve with my vacuum pump to make sure that the actuator and everything is working properly. The one thing they were definitely telling the truth about, these vacuum lines are pretty much had it, and I'm going to be replacing them. They don't appear to be of high quality in the first place, and these are OEM lines, so that's kind of disappointing from Volkswagen. And even on the back side of the EGR valve, you can see that there's just not a lot of obstruction in here. And so I'm going to clean this up, put new vacuum lines on it, put it back together, and drive this car. Sorry, dealer. Okay, I've got the fuel filter out, and I cut the canister open. Took a die grinder and cut the lid off of it. And the first thing that I noticed, besides looking at the top of it, is that the bottom of this is incredibly dirty. There's a lot of sediment, dirt, rust. This filter's really had it. Here's the element itself. As you can see, this was white at one time, and it's just completely dirty and was way past need of replacement. Definitely going to be more proactive about replacing that filter, because the fuel that we're getting these days, whether it be gasoline or diesel, is just really dirty. It's a poor quality, and just not pure. It's got water in it, it's got dirt in it, and the only way that you can keep that from getting into your injector pump and ruining other parts is to replace your filter often. Okay, just kind of in summary here, what I've done since the beginning of this video is that I have cleaned the EGR valve and put it back on. I have replaced this vacuum line here, which was in very poor condition. Also, this line back here, it was kind of hard to get to if I didn't do it at the time the EGR valve was off. And I've also replaced this line right here, which was also in poor condition. I've changed the oil and filter right underneath this housing. It's a cartridge type filter, and I use synthetic oil in there. The owner's manual says I can go 10,000 miles between oil changes with that synthetic oil. I change it every 5,000 miles. So I don't care to push it to that 10,000 mile limit. I think that's a little extreme. That's asking a lot of any motor oil. And I've replaced the filter. As you saw earlier, that old filter was way past need of replacement. So it's got a new one in there. I did not get a chance to get into what I see is a little bit of seepage here around this coolant flange. I'm going to go to the dealer and see if there's an O-ring or just what kind of gasket or O-ring might go in there. Get that first. Get some Volkswagen coolant and some distilled water, and take care of that. Possibly post that in a later video. So once again, don't be afraid. If your dealer tells you that your car is needing things that just don't sound right to you, dive in. It's not that hard. Most of this stuff to work on, you can check and keep them honest by taking a look and see if in fact the things they're saying are wrong with it. Appreciate you watching the video. Leave any comments you have below, and thanks for watching.